Thank you so much for listening to the KJNA podcast. You can email us at kjnapodcast@gmail.com.
Give us a call or text or leave us a message at 858-848-KJNA. That's 5562.
You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky, and YouTube at KJNA Podcast.
Don't forget, we have 6 hours of bonus content over on our Patreon, patreon.com/KJNA Podcast. And if you want to donate to us, find us at buymeacoffee.com/KJNA Podcast.
Thank you so much for listening.
Love you.
I guess I'll stick with this. I'm not the biggest fan of it because there's so many limitations, but it's okay.
Also, I did start recording, but really on our podcast, we just like to bullshit.
Okay.
That's really it. And don't worry about saying anything because that's literally all we do is we just shoot the shit about whatever we want, which is how I found you because I was just doing me a Google about different things. People who like the same things we do. And I was like, oh, Near Make a Digit. He does comic books. I like comic books. Jay likes comic books.
I do love
it. You do? Okay. How long have you guys been doing this?
We're about to break into the 4th season. So 3 years.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Change? Yeah.
You two knew each other? Friends?
Oh yeah. We've known each other since we met at Lowe's, over a decade ago.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been quite a while.
So I see the Keyblade. Is that Sora's Keyblade?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It just chills back here. That's where you gotta hang it.
Nice. Okay.
Everything else on the wall is Last of Us related. That's all.
Okay. And Jay, you're into comics as well?
Yes, sir. Favorite character will always be Eddie Brock Venom, but Flash is a second.
Oh, Flash Thompson.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
He was I think his run was probably one of my favorites as a Venom character.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really get into Dylan, but he's more recent, so
yeah.
I kind of fell off.
He's still the new kid on the block. So this is a podcast, no video then, right?
Yeah, we might post it on we tend to post it on YouTube.
Sure.
But if that's cool with you, but we just it really we don't do anything crazy. We just gotta shoot the shit, and we're pretty good about keeping it going mostly and having good conversation and stuff.
I thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for accepting, because I know it was totally random and out of the blue. But
no, I mean I've been on other shows before, but it's gotten to be kind of crazy and hectic with the schedule, so I have to plan things ahead, a couple of months ahead of time.
Oh yeah, I understand.
But it's not, especially during the summer, during the spring and summer when the kids are about to wrap up all these things that they're doing in school and after school activities, and then the summertime, it's oh my gosh, before you know it, your whole summer's booked up and you don't even realize it, and you're how did this even happen? But where are you all located?
We're in Virginia.
Yep.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not too far. I'm in Kentucky.
Oh okay, yeah, that's just a couple states that way.
Yeah.
That way. Whatever direction you're facing. So what do you do? So just so everyone who's listening knows whom we're speaking to today.
What do? I do this. This is what I do. I do YouTube for a living. I am very blessed to be doing that for a living. It's been my full-time job for, this is my 4th year, so a little over 4 years full-time. I've had a YouTube channel we just celebrated 9 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it just, I was in IT for 20 years of my life, and in 2020, where we had the unfortunate COVID,
Yeah.
and we lost a lot of contracts, and like a lot of people lost my job, and I couldn't find anything. I mean, once you're into a field for so long, it kind of sucks because you've been doing it for so long. Nobody wants to hire somebody that's had that much experience because they can get somebody a lot cheaper that's right out of college, which I completely understand. But yeah, that on top of COVID, and it just couldn't find anything, and that was from June to October. I looked, um, and then my wife and I started looking at our expenses and started looking at YouTube revenue because it had grown because of 2020, because of the lockdown. Everybody
Yeah.
was home
Just using it at that point.
with disposable income, right? Like
Yeah.
wanting to relive their childhood. And I noticed that, that was huge up, like just my videos were performing like insanely, like, and they grew. And I realized that I'm like, if I can keep like 10% of the viewership that grew within this year, I think I could still do this. So we ended up getting sponsors and started a Patreon. And in 2021, I went full time with Near Mint Condition, and that's where I've been. So it's pretty cool, man. It's a niche of a niche. Like, I love comic books, but my channel focuses on this stuff back here, collected editions.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, so you have comic books, you have comic book movies. Those channels do so well, and they're so big. But my channel is like collected editions. That means like it's not just reprints. It's like a bunch of reprints in one book. So that's kind of where I became the guy to go to when it comes to collected editions, whether it's omnis or trades or hardcovers or whatever format these publishers release them in.
That's awesome though. I mean, doing something you love and
Yeah,
making it
yeah.
into a career is pretty is pretty cool.
It's
That's the goal.
not what I had planned when I was, how old was I? 43 at the time? Yeah, 43 when we went with it full time. Yeah,
Oh, that's
not
cool.
what I had in the works. Like, I was supposed to be in IT for about 15 more years and then look at some early retirement, maybe. Now, not so much, but I'm having a lot more fun. It's a lot more stressful at times
Yeah.
because of the content and demand, and it's like owning your own business, right? You put in
Yeah.
the work or you don't make money. Like, if
Yeah.
you don't put in the work, there people are going to see that you're kind of phoning it in. And I never want to do that, and I think I put a lot of pressure on myself, so it can be really stressful.
Yeah, that's the pressure to make yourself better though. That's not there's nothing wrong with that. It can get like I know I do the same thing where I'm like if I don't have a plan for the next steps, I start stressing out like okay, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna be bettering myself and you know, all that stuff. I totally get that. Do you you say you worked in IT? I remember I was gonna say just because it popped in my head before it slips out of my head. It's like we're around the same age as you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just remember when you were younger, it was like, it was the good thing to stay with one job and be like, oh, you have company loyalty, blah, blah, blah. But then lately, it's like the past 10 years or so, it's like if you go and apply for companies, they're like, why didn't you move around? Like you were at that job for so long. Why didn't you, grow and go to different places? You're like, come on, man. I can't do both.
Yeah,
That's what I thought too. Like, you're supposed to be in one place for so many years and get that experience and retire from there. But I'm also in the state of Kentucky. In the city I lived in, it's a small town. You either work at the state or you work at a factory, and that's pretty much it. So when it came to working at places, like, yeah, you go to college, you get a degree, and then you go and retire from there. Then that's it.
Yeah.
You don't move around. And I think that's always been the case for the town that I live in. So it's weird and very rare for people my age, I guess our age, to be doing YouTube videos for a living, or I guess what is it? Being some kind of, is it still called Instastar? I don't even know if that's what they call it. It's An influencer, if you will. I don't think it was
yeah.
in the works. Like, it definitely was not in my cards. Like, I love it, but I did not expect to be doing this, and I'm very, very humbled and blessed that I do this.
That's awesome. Yeah, this is our side gig, like outside of
Hmm.
our day jobs.
Yeah, so this was my side gig. It was just fun, and I had a day job. I was a project manager, and yeah, that's when I lost my job and decided to just. Well, didn't decide. The universe decided for me that I should try to do something else, and apparently this was it. I was pretty good at being a project manager, but I just wasn't happy.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Making as much money, but having a job that you don't loathe going to every day, that's the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
Absolutely.
being your own boss, I mean, yeah, you are the workforce, but you dictate how you do it, when you do it, and everything is at your fingertips, not somebody else's. It's so
Yeah.
much better that way in so many ways. I still to this day cannot stand a person sitting in an ivory tower telling me what I should do when they haven't been in my position in years, or
Yeah.
may have never been in my position in years.
That still happens. It's funny you mentioned that. I think of, if I take a step back, it is like that. It's like you're your own boss. I talked about how if you don't put in the work, if you don't put in the reading, if you don't put in the video shooting or editing, people are going to notice. But also, there are things out of your control that you can't help.
Right.
There are things that you're at the mercy of Google, no matter what. Because
The
YouTube is
algorithm.
ran by Google, right? So there's an
Cursed
algorithm.
algorithm.
Yeah, it's an algorithm, and your channel can get demonetized for saying certain things, and yeah, it's still like abiding by some kind of rules, but no one really there to talk to in case something goes south. I remember a couple of years ago, I ended up with 2 copyright strikes for manga, and if you get 3 copyright strikes, there's no questions asked. Like, they will shut your channel down and anybody affiliated with your channel. So it was crazy. So it's things like that you don't think about, right? Like in the real world, when I was in IT, I have a problem, I go to HR, I'm like, yo, I think y'all made a mistake. In this, it's like, who do I talk to? Oh, there's no one to talk to. Crap. What do I do? It was like walking on eggshells. So what happened is YouTube gives you 3 chances. And what happens every single time is there's a bot that searches for copyrighted material, whether it's music, whether it's movies, or some kind of like pictures that belongs to somebody. Well, this is so messed up, but there was a publisher in America that sent me manga, and I do overviews on my channel of books, just like I do for Marvel or anybody else that sends me books. And the books that they sent me were approved, and I make the video goes live. And the crazy thing is, that was probably in the summer, so this is probably around November. I'm with my wife and my kids, and we decided to take off for a weekend for Sunday and Monday, just to go to Tennessee for a little bit. And I log on to YouTube Studio, and I notice that there's copyright strikes, and that's never happened. There are copyright claims, and you can still keep
Like,
your video up, and you just can't monetize it. That's happened before whenever you're showing like a video clip of something, and I get that. But this was like on copyright strikes from the license holder in Japan. So I contact the publisher that sent me the books, and I'm like, hey, just letting you know that I got a copyright strike from these videos that were approved by you all, and maybe let the license holder in Japan know that you all sent me the video. What they were claiming is that somebody was sharing a complete like scan of the book, right? And that's a copyright strike, and I get that, but I wasn't. It was like my hands in the video when I'm talking, and I'm, and I'll never forget, the publisher was like, yeah, man, good luck. That's it. Right? So I have one of my best friends is a copyright lawyer, so I got him involved, and I'm like, what do I do? And the sucky thing is that you really are at the mercy of all this, because I had to put all my manga videos on private, because at any time licenses are like, this is things you don't think about. Like, licenses work so different in every country. The US, like, fair share and all that, if you go on YouTube and look it up, it's kind of ridiculous, honestly. Like, bigger channels are like, oh yeah, you can use 30 seconds or 10 seconds worth of movies and music without getting into trouble. No, that's not true at all. Any amount of movie, like 2 seconds, like 3 seconds clip, a soundbite could get you into trouble. It's just that bots aren't looking for those things. So at the end of the day, he was like, yeah, you could file, a counterclaim, but they can take you to court. And that's when the problem came, is like, if they take you to court, you're looking at legal fees that are in the at least $5,000, $6,000 for each case. And at that time, there were so many videos that they could claim each video. And I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it. I'm just going to put it on private, delete it. And I think it's a 3-month, you're on like a 3-month probation before they go away. And they eventually went away. Now, since then, I've done manga reviews on the channel. I made a video about the whole experience, and I've had people comment on that video. Yeah, like, my channel got taken down. It's bullcrap. Because you really are. Like, it's things like that you don't think about that are out of your hand. So, at work, like when I used to work in IT, there were deadlines and there were budgets, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my team's going over budget. I gotta go to this meeting and represent us and let the people know why we're going over budget. It's a different stress level. In this, it's like, what do I do with this notice that YouTube is going to kill my channel? Like, who do I talk to?
Yeah, I was gonna ask how long it takes. How long it takes for a copyright thing to fall off, so you can, I guess, reset the counter. So
3 months.
3 months.
Mm-hmm. So for those 3 months, those 2 copyright strikes, that means I couldn't get another one, or they would shut down my channel. And they shut down your channel, no questions asked. Like, there's no helpline, there's no HR, there's nobody to go to and like argue with. It was a huge eye-opening learning experience. But I feel like the longer I've been doing this for a living, I've learned so much since that first year. Like, I remember the first year that I was monetizing videos, because I think they changed that every couple of years. They change how you can monetize videos. It kind of gets ridiculous, and they make it harder and harder for people to monetize them, even though they're making money off your videos.
They're making buku bucks all the time.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, you all worked in corporate America. You know that anytime you get an email in the middle of the night, it's never good news for you, right? It's usually like from a corporation, Google will send out an email in the middle of the night, like, we're changing the way we monetize things. So it went from YouTube monetization to Google AdSense. And I mean, a lot of people, and I think at that time, this was in 2021, there were people making videos like, I can't do this for a living anymore, because they legit took 35% off of your if you were making $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $10,000 a month, it was like 35% off of that. And that's a big chunk of change, especially for these bigger channels that hire people. Yeah. And like I said, it's all like a big learning experience. Like, oh, crap, that happened. I didn't see that happening. That at any time they could change how much they give you, the percentage, because again, you're at the mercy of things that are outside of your control. And I think I've figured out a balance where I'm just like, okay, and not to get too stressed out, but things still stress you out. It's just work. So it's just a little different these days.
Yeah, you're your own boss, and like the success and failure is all based on your work, and you got finding that balance where you're not like, I'm working 24 hours a day versus.
And it's hard when you're working enough. Home, right? Yeah. It's hard. It's hard when you read comics for a living and you're like, oh, this is fun. And I mean, yeah, it is. And then you look at your pile and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to do this video by a certain time. Yeah. It's an amazing blessing. But also, like, I take it serious, because the moment that I don't, and I'm like, oh man, whatever. I thought that, dude. I thought, like, when I was when I first got into YouTube like videos, I'm like, man, this guy's playing video games for a living. That's so cool. And I don't know what it's like. Grass is always greener, right? Or like this guy's watching movies for a living. That's awesome. This is like he gets to review movies. It's what I don't realize, or what I didn't realize at the time, is just how much money or how much time you spend doing these things. Because if you're not reading, like, okay, so if I'm reading, I'm not editing. Right? If I'm not filming, I'm not reading or editing. So it's like if you're a one-man show, it becomes really difficult. It's like I need to slow down. So when you just said about 24 hours, yeah, there are times that I stay up till like 3 o'clock in the morning to finish a book because I want to do it justice. And, you know, if publishers are kind enough to send me something, then the least I can do is give it a shot and read it and, you know, do a proper overview. Because I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh man, these guys have it made. They get up at like 10 o'clock in the morning, roll out of bed, go watch a crappy movie, and they get to film themselves talk about it. Are you kidding me? But I don't know the logistics behind it, right? But if you're watching like the all versions of Apocalypse Now, and I mean, that is a huge amount of your day taken by that. Then you got to film it. Then you got to edit. Right? And who knows if you get a copyright strike because you're using a 2-second clip of Apocalypse Now, the Redux edition. Yeah,
I can't even play a clip of them saying the title of the movie. Like, it's too long.
Yep.
Right.
That's it. That's all you get. Well, I'm curious. If you enjoy comic books, what do you do for fun now?
Play video games. Yeah, play video games, man.
There you go.
Like, comics, video games, and collecting toys have always been my hobby. I always collect like something, right? Sometimes I would focus more on comics, and then when collected editions came out, and like they started just cranking them out in 2004, I was like, wow, I'm just gonna go that route, and I'm glad I did because this is what I do now. But yeah, play video games and try to do things outside, like active things to keep the mind fresh, to get out of the house too. And I still collect toys. So people on my channel are like, dude, when are you going to start like a side Twitch to like, let us watch you play video games or like when you're putting your toys up? And I was like, never. Because
that's
time. My life. That's me. That's my like little sand garden that I get to play with. I get to share this with you all, and I don't mind. I love this. But if you start sharing every part of your life, then it's like, what's your life anymore, right? It's like now you're, oh man, I got to get on Twitch. It's 8 o'clock. I got to go and play the new God of War, whatever's going on Twitch.
Yeah, it's like, it's not fun when you have to like, all right, I got to be entertaining while I'm playing this game. Like, no, just let me zone out, go into every little corner, like search for every little secret.
Dude,
because
legit,
this is what I find fun.
I was like, my favorite place to go on the planet right now is the movie theater because I can put my phone away and I'm just lost between me and the movie screen. That's it. I love going to the theater. Love it. And yeah, because even at home when you're watching movies, like you'll see something pop up on your phone and you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening now? You know, I can't. But in the movie theater, yeah, man, I'm lost. So I love that.
Yeah, I find my way to get out is like taking walks now. Like, and I specifically take walks and I make sure like I leave my phone on just in case of an emergency. You never know what happens, but I turn it all the way down and I keep it in a pocket where I can't feel it. Like no vibrating, no nothing. I'm like, this is gonna be me time. Appreciate real life for a while. Don't stare at your computer. You know, don't stare at your phone.
Yeah, man, it's so easy to lose yourself in these things. But yeah, that's something that I have to like give myself this. I have to have my own thing. Like I went and dude, this is crazy, but I forced myself to get out of the house to go to the midnight release of the Switch 2. Because yeah, like some of my friends are like, dude, what the hell, man? It's midnight. You should be in bed. And I was like,
all my friends are as old as I am.
I was like, well, they make good points, right? Like, you can order it from Walmart or Target or but I kind of miss that experience of standing next to a bunch of strangers and just geeking out over the same things that we love. Like,
Yeah.
that to me, like, that human experience is something you can't you can't do that when you're ordering something from Amazon. So I was like, I'm getting out of the house. I'm going to do that because God knows the next time we're going to have a console that we'll have a midnight launch for.
Yeah, that's true. It feels like the consoles are being released at longer and longer time frames, and then when they do, it's not really a huge change except for the number.
Yeah,
Like-
pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah.
We're gonna get a PS6 in 20 years, and we're gonna get a Xbox. Oh, what are they doing now? What are they?
I can't even keep up with
into?
are we in letters or numbers again?
I don't even know.
I think we're in letters for Xbox.
We're in letters. Okay.
Yeah.
Are we?
Yes, it's the Series X and the Series S.
Okay.
Yeah, missed out on both of those. Last one I got was an Xbox One.
Yes.
My last one was a 360.
Oh, yeah?
That was the last one. After that, I played Last of Us on PS2, PS3, and I was like, okay, I don't want to go back to Xbox because it's like my favorite game of all time now.
Oh, Last of Us was so good.
So good.
Love
So
that game.
good.
We were... I had never... Oh, you played the second one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, my cousin, God bless her, spoiled the second one for me. And it was only out for a week! So the big thing that happens in the second one, I was like, yo, you know that Last of Us is like one of my favorite games. I never platinum games, and I platinumed the hell out of the first one. I mean, I got everything.
Oh, I had someone wrote in game for me who died in that game. I was like, what the fuck? Why would you do that?
Oh, dude, I was so pissed. So it took me like they did what was it, the remaster edition on the PS4
Yeah, for the older
a
one.
couple of years ago.
Hmm.
So that was the first time I played it because I was like, enough time has passed. I've forgiven my cousin, and it's time to play Last of Us 2. I love Last of Us 2, man. It was so
It's,
good.
You know,
I
a lot
wish
of
I
people
didn't know
hated
what
it.
had happened, but it was such a good game.
A lot of people like really hated the second one for what happened in it. But like I'm also I try to see it from the external perspective. I'm like, look, you can't. They had such a engrossing story in the first one. They had to do something crazy, like in the second one, in order to even somewhat capture that that little sparkle that you got from the first one.
Man, it was so cool. I loved it because it was like, it's like there's two sides to every story, and that's the perfect way to do it. Like I love that whole journey of both Ellie and Abby. Oh man, and the show's pretty good too. I dig the show.
I haven't watched it. I can't. I don't want it to ruin the game for me.
They do things a little different in the show. That's all I will say. And they actually expanded on something from the first game that was pretty solid.
Okay,
I dug that.
I might just have to set myself into the mindset. It doesn't have to be the game.
Well, yeah,
enjoy
right.
it for what it
that's the
is.
hardest thing, right? For a comic book reader to be like, well, it's not like the comics, because a lot of people can't. They're like, no, man, that's not. This isn't like Civil War in the comics, and I'm like,
That's me.
Is that you? Okay.
That's me.
For me, I'm like, yeah, but this Civil War was better. It actually made sense. The comics didn't make any goddamn sense at all, like other than pretty artwork. But yeah, for comics and movies, that's something that I had to like separate, or otherwise it was just going to be an arguing about everything. Like, oh, I can't believe they're doing this. This is so wrong. That's not comic accurate. That costume is not comic accurate. It's movies. It's movies, so I have to let some things slide.
Read the Civil War, Jay?
The original where, it was all about secret identities versus, they dropped the city on a city.
Yo,
Yes.
that was so cool.
Yes, the Avengers need to be put in check, but superheroes in general in the comics were like, yeah, we're split. Everybody gives out their identity, or we don't. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense, because now you put your identity out there, what's going to happen? Now my loved ones are in danger. It makes no sense. So yes, Team Cap all the way. Team Cap in the movie Civil War 2.
Spider-Man knew. We've already done this before. Like, how do we do it again? Oh man, yeah. But I like the movie. Like, and I'm not saying every movie is like, oh, this is the superior version of that story. But they do their own thing, and I like that. I can accept the fact that it's a different medium, and they have to change things up. I don't agree with every change, but that's okay.
Yeah, I can agree with that point because, uh, hmm, hmm, Wanda. Oh, Wanda.
You're not a fan of the
Not,
Olsen sister?
no, I love her portrayal of Wanda Maximoff.
Mm-hmm.
My problem was how quickly she went from I'm dealing with my grief to now I'm just going to steal an alternate version of myself's life, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, she
That,
kind of snapped. She kind of
yeah,
snapped.
yeah, they were just like, she seems like she's healed. To fuck that.
I do love that twist though, where it's like what was it, a garden or something?
Oh
And
yeah, it
then
was a
she
whole
just kind of
apple orchard, and it was like,
yeah, and she fades it away, and you're like, yo, we're gonna go there. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
she went
yeah,
straight super dark route. I burned that
yeah.
bitch down to the ground.
I remember X-Men. I was one of the guys with the X-Men. I wasn't even reading comics at the time. That was in 2000 or 1999 whenever they announced they were going to do the X-Men movie.
Mm.
And a friend of mine was telling me, he was kind of keeping me up. You know, even when you leave some kind whatever your geek medium is, like whether it's comics or video games or movies or toys, like you always it's like an ex-girlfriend. You're just like, just out of curiosity, what's it been up to lately? And you always have a friend that keeps you in the loop. Like, oh man, you're never gonna believe what's going on in the comics, man. Grant Morrison's writing X-Men. And you're like, yo, really? That's crazy. But I remember when my friend was telling me about the X-Men movie, and I was like, oh man, I've waited years. I'm not even reading comics anymore. Who do they got to play? Like, they were like Patrick Stewart. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Okay. Then they told me about Wolverine, and I was like, who is this guy? They were like, I don't know, man. He's like 6 foot something. And we were like, dude, it's never going to work. This is so stupid. Like, why would they cast somebody that tall? Yeah, man, he killed it, though. I remember going to the theater, and I was like, walking out of that theater, I was like, I think I'm ready to go back to reading comics again. I think. I came really close, but it wasn't until 2002 that I went back to read comics.
It's like the Heath Ledger Joker, man. Everyone was like, "That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen."
Yeah, I remember
And
that.
it's like the best Joker. Fucking,
Yeah, he was
so
solid.
Like I said,
so good.
my two tops, and I don't think there's any dispute, is Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson. You had the clown, and you had a mastermind who acted like a clown, and I love that fact. Jack Nicholson was just like extreme haha, but yes, dastardly evil with every intent he had. Whereas Heath Ledger was like, oh, I'm just evil for the sake of evil, and I like having fun with it. Eh.
I love Jack just playing Jack with makeup.
Oh yeah.
Like at the end of the day, but he sold it though. I like
Oh
this
yeah.
character.
I thought that cutting the sides of his mouth to make the smile was a interesting twist on like Heath Ledger's Joker, and they didn't really give him a background either. They were just like,
I like
"Oh,
that.
he's fucking crazy. He was there."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of
that's the Joker, right? Like who cares? He's just
Yeah.
nuts. Like he doesn't need an origin. So it kind of made sense that they were doing that, kind of like fooling you into thinking, oh no, this is the true origin of the Joker. Yeah. I remember when seeing Jared Leto's first picture from Suicide Squad, and I texted my friend who works in Hollywood, and he was like, I texted him, I'm like, yo, did you see Jared Leto's Joker? And he was like, yeah, man, what do you think? And I'm like, it's a little much. I don't, and this was before he even spoke any of his lines. I'm like, he could kill it, but as far as the tattoos and all that, I was like, it's a little much. But I guess we'll see.
I mean, I wasn't a crazy fan of it, but you got to give it the chance. I need to get better about giving things chances. Like I didn't watch Game of Thrones because I read the books. Like I watched the first season and I was like, it didn't stick to the books.
Those.
I know. I need to grow up one day.
Oh no, there's nothing.
One day.
I don't think that you're, and the fact that you're holding your own, you're like, you still haven't. That goddamn show's been over for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So you.
And people still talk about how great it was.
You stood your ground, dude. Yeah, it was great. Like those first few seasons. Then that last season.
And we all knew it wasn't going to be that great. nothing was going to
I
compare.
had
To,
hopes.
about the only good part about that was Arya taking out the knight.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I mean,
dude.
that was it. That was it. I'm like, oh,
See,
got the
man,
knife.
you're missing out
Bah!
on your
Oh,
ending,
no.
dude. You haven't
He ain't gonna watch it. He ain't
Yeah,
gonna
I
watch
haven't
it.
got there.
your
He's not gonna watch
your
it.
books aren't gonna be over though, man. Like you
I
gotta.
know he's probably gonna croak before he finishes them.
Mm-hmm.
Although, man,
It'll
you
be
know
like,
what makes me mad was we didn't get no Lady Stoneheart. That was like one of my favorite characters in the books. I was like, who is this? What we're all led to believe it was a cat, right? But yeah, we never got the character in the show, and I'm like, oh man, it would have been so cool. But then again, there were so many unanswered questions and so many things they built up that I don't think the showrunners by that point knew what to do with or even
Like,
cared.
I don't know, if George R. Martin doesn't finish the last book, they could do like the guy who wrote the Wheel of Time.
Oh, Brandon Sanderson to finish
yeah,
it. Robert
to
Jordan's
finish it,
book.
he had like his buddy to write and he did such a phenomenal job. That's one of my favorite book series because of just like the whole thing was so good. How it rounded out, and like the dude on his deathbed was telling this guy how he wants his story to end, and that was just phenomenal. I love that. The series, I didn't like it.
I forgot there was a series, man. Until
You're
you
not
said
missing much. It was not good. I did actively try to be like, this is not the book. Let's just enjoy it for what it is. But I couldn't. I tried.
I respect that.
Okay. In my defense, I watched the first season. I enjoyed the first season. I could not get into the second season. Had not read
So
the
you
books.
like the first one?
Yes, I like the first season. I can't get past that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I remember I've read the first 3 or 4 books of Wheel of Time. That went on for a while, right? Like well over 10 before Jordan passed away.
It was 7.
Oh, really?
And then they
I thought there were a
split the
lot more.
7th book into 2 because it was so big.
And those are the ones that Brandon Sanderson wrote?
Yeah.
8 and 9?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
Because
never went
apparently-
past 4.
I don't know. It was so good though. When they it was one of those few series where when you get to the end, you're satisfied. Like,
So you had been a fan of Wheel of Time before you knew someone else was going to take over and finish it?
yeah, I was because I mean,
How did that make you feel then?
well,
Were you like, oh
I-
crap, this is gonna suck? Or were you like,
I didn't.
we'll see?
Well, like the way that I listen to, or the way that I've been reading books lately, because I work behind a desk,
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to listen to audiobooks get through like 8 hours a day while
Nice.
I'm working. And so I was listening to Wheel of Time, and then I ran out of credits. I'm like, well, I'm not going to spend any more. I got to like book 5, and so I went and looked ahead, and I was like, oh, why is this other guy writing it? Looked it up. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I was going to finish the story because I wanted to, and I was heavily invested, because each audiobook was like 45, 50 hours worth of talking. And I put in them hours, man. I put in the fucking hours. But then, so I went with free credit, like the free books that Brandon Sanderson had on Audible.
Mm-hmm.
I went and listened to his books, and I was like, oh, I really like his writing style. Like, this is going to be good. This is going to be real good. So, like, I was excited to see how he ended it. And he, like, you could tell it was a little bit of a different style, but he was telling the story in Robert Jordan's manner of speaking. Like, I think he did a really good job with the last 2 books. It was super good.
I know that he's got a huge fan following. My brother's one of his like biggest fans. He loves anything. Like Brandon Sanderson has a Kickstarter and immediately it's like funded. Like it's crazy. But the Mistborn series, and I hate to say this, but the only Brandon Sanderson books I've actually read were the comic book adaptations that he wrote. Like for what was it? White Sand? But it's one of the books from the Mistborn series.
I mean, it's not always not everybody has the time to read all the time. That's totally it's a niche market now because everyone's on the computer, and I would prefer to read the books because I still like holding the paper. smelling, smelling the books. That's still really good, but I don't. I don't know. Listening to them, I didn't think I'd like it, but the more I listen, the more I'm like, yeah, I don't care. This is actually really enjoyable that I'm able to listen and still get it. That makes me happy.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Now I'm looking through his book and I'm trying to his books and seeing. Well, I can't remember which ones I read.
He's a solid writer, that's for sure.
The Hope of a Launtress is really good. I remember that one. Mm-hmm.
Jay, do you like to read?
It has been some time since I've been able to pick up a book and actually let myself get lost in a story. Besides, what the current runs of Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman.
Oh, see, I haven't read those. What do you think of those?
Honestly, I am loving this version of Bruce Wayne more than the original version of Bruce because, again, Bruce in regular life is, I'm rich. I can do whatever I want, basically. Also, I will also create a small army of child soldiers, and it's perfectly okay. And then from my nice mansion, I shall go out into the slums. Not to the big businesses owned by mobsters to start. I will go to the slums first and start beating the shit out of people. This Batman has only lost a single parent, not both parents. And instead of being rich, he's just jacked. Like that man is his legs are tree trunks. He's huge.
It's
He's the Reacher of DC?
He's the Reacher of DC.
it's Nick Dragotta, right? That does the art in that.
I do believe so.
Yeah, so people, I love it when people complain because internet. But the pictures like of Batman, like huge, right, in the bat symbol, and people were like, "This is so stupid. He looks so big and ridiculous. It's so unreal." And I was like, "Do we not remember like the Dark Knight, Frank Miller's Dark Knight? He was huge."
Yes, he was an old. Freaking Batman Returns, even without the armor, he was a thicker Batman because of time, and he had to build himself up bigger because he was getting older. He couldn't just be nice and slender Olympian. He had to be a bodybuilder to take on crime at his age. But yeah, this one is cool as fuck. I mean, I love how his outfit has all the weapons basically in it instead of having like the whole utility.
Bat symbol.
It's an axe.
Yeah, axe. That's awesome.
The freaking ears are knives. I was thinking, yes.
Oh, I can't wait to read it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
I know that people are loving every one of these. Absolute Superman and then Absolute Wonder Woman by Kelly Thompson.
Yeah, I still need to
That's
get
got
that
artwork
one.
by Hayden Sherman, and Hayden is a phenomenal artist for someone so young. So I'm jealous that you're reading them. See, that's the problem when it comes to this. I gotta wait like 6 months. Everybody's like, "Oh man, it's so good." I'm like, I'll find out in 6 months when the trade paperback comes out.
Yeah. I mean, I do that with certain characters. Like, I'll wait for... I would have waited for all new Venom, but I was like, coming off of Venom War, I gotta figure out who this new Venom is, because they didn't explain who it would be. So it was basically a mystery for like 5 issues. And then to come to find out.
Man, that got spoiled for me. I was so pissed off.
The internet
the trade paperback doesn't come out for another couple months, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah, the internet is relentless on letting people be here.
I don't even go to comic book like Facebook groups or anything. I went to. It might have been a Switch Facebook group or something, and somebody had posted the image. I'm like, oh, come on, man! I'm reading this in trade.
I was like, at first, I was like, it's got to be Rick. It's got to be Rick. Only for Rick. Yeah, not Rick. I was like, you sons of bitches. I mean, this dude's been like almost every superhero in the freaking book. Buddy Wolf Hulk, and then becomes a Hulk himself. I'm like, come on. He can get a symbiote.
Rick Jones.
Mm-hmm. It was between Robbie Robertson, Madam Mask, Rick Jones, and they had like a fourth that they just kept in the shadows the entire time. I was like, Rick would be the next best symbiote, but he ends up being Sleeper.
That's hilarious.
I was like,
I love Al Ewing. I'm so glad that Al Ewing is finally getting the recognition he deserves to with what was it, Immortal Hulk? Because he's been writing comics for a while, but like his Ultimates was so good. The U.S. Avengers was solid. That Defenders book was so good. And yeah, now people are like, "Oh, it's the guy that wrote Immortal Hulk," and now he's writing Immortal Thor, and he's writing Venom. And his Venom was pretty. It was so confusing at first, right?
Yeah.
Like when you finish the King in Black story and wrapping up Donny Cates' run, which reads more like almost like a manga or a video game. And then this is almost like 2001, like Stanley Kubrick 2001 movie. Like what's going on? The hell is he lost in time? Why are there two Venoms? Why is Eddie? Where's Eddie? Like what's happening? What is this Garden of Time nonsense? What's going on?
Yeah, that whole.
But it's so good because he hooks you when the revelations are out there.
Yeah, I mean then the whole Venomverse, and now they have the Venomverse versus Spider-Verse going on. I'm like, there's a lot going, a lot of things, and my brain is trying to get it all put together. Yeah.
Just like the concepts of symbiotes. I think it's the coolest. Like, they could be anything you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. They take over people. Okay.
Some of them. Not all of them. Some of them.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, they do a combine.
Yeah.
Do a little mixy.
It's all about acceptance.
Is it though?
Most times. Sometimes. It's that, or like the very first time the symbiotes came to Earth and they were just like, hey, we're going to make you jump off buildings so we can get that adrenaline going and feed ourselves. And then when we're done with you, toss the husk and move on. Yay. Just have some chocolate. Just have some chocolate. Yay, that's what Eddie found out. He was like, if I eat enough chocolate, we're good. My brain secretes the proper chemical, and me and the symbiote, we're good. I forgot the story run. That's my bad. I know it wasn't separation anxiety, but I do remember the craziness of the imagery. I really wish I could remember who did the art for that story arc.
For separation anxiety?
I don't think it was separation anxiety, because that's when the Life Foundation symbiotes popped up. It was a later run, late 90s. I cannot remember who did the writing and who did the art.
There's a lot of Larry Hama miniseries in that era. I think my favorite ones were Carnage. Oh man, Carnage emails himself out of prison. Like, because we were still figuring out what the internet was. And I love Larry Hama. Oh my god, Wolverine and G.I. Joe are some of my favorite comics, but it was like somebody trying to understand how we work the internet. Like, Carnage got out of prison by emailing himself out. And I was like, that's so stupid, but you know what? It kind of works. Like, sure. How did you
see that? So I have no idea what it is.
Oh, you should read some 90s comics. Went crazy for a while, man.
Oh yeah.
What did you think of the Venom movie then? Movies. Sorry.
I have mixed opinions, but overall I accept them.
You accept them? Okay.
I accept them only because, like, again, origin story is, Spider-Man had the black suit. Spider-Man rejects black suit. Eddie gets black suit. Now he goes after Peter in every aspect of his life, both as Spider-Man and as Peter Parker. Goes to jail. Okay, cool. Finds Cletus Cassidy. Oh no, Cletus gets the symbiote. Oh no, now Spider-Man and Venom have to team up together to go after Carnage. All right, cool. But see, the last movie, they jumped so much that was never told. And we're just like, here's Null. What do you mean? Huh? There was no build up. Don't get me wrong.
No.
Andy Serkis is the voice of Null. Okay.
I don't think he even knew what he was playing.
Yeah, basically a guy sitting for like 2 hours.
Yeah, because I forgot he was even in the movie. I was like, oh, that's right. I forgot this guy was in the movie. Here we go. Oh, we're not. Okay, what?
Like so many other characters that I felt were pivotal to Venom's story, from going from a villain to an anti-hero, never make an appearance. Nothing he's just all of a sudden in San Francisco. Why are you in? You're supposed to spend a lot of time. New York. New York. Sony, you suck.
I didn't like any of them really. I couldn't. Venom was so whiny. He was like the comic relief, and I'm like, that shouldn't be who Venom is. I didn't like that.
Well, they gave Venom a voice as a symbiote too early. Like Eddie and the symbiote didn't really speak like that. But I guess for the audience, you have to kind of have Venom have its own physical representation, literally leering it into Eddie's face. But Eddie was menacing before he got the symbiote. He was already ripped to hell, and could probably, if Peter didn't have superpowers, break him like a twig. But
Eddie. I thought that was so stupid.
the
I
cooking,
was like, how did this movie make so much money? The first one, right?
I thought out of the three, the first one is the most solid. I enjoyed the.
I don't know if I would use the word most solid. It's the one that was.
It stands on its legs
It's the
better
least
than
suckable one.
exactly.
I'll say
Yes.
that.
It stands on its legs better
The
than
least
Carnage
suckable-
or Venom: The Last Dance. So I was like, that it's too wordy.
Oh, dude, I don't think.
It's
I
so
don't think
wordy.
even Tom Hardy cared by that point. Like, seriously, man, he was like, I think he was. I don't know if you caught this or not. So my wife and I finally watched it, and it was like he was going in and out of his accent from time to time in like different scenes. I'm like, I think he just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing voiceover lines for Venom, playing Eddie, and probably working on several different projects at the same time, like, are you really giving your full attention to this? Because Sony's already basically discontinued its whole Venom, not Venom line, but the villain story arcs by that point. I'm pretty sure he already knew that. So
Yeah,
Just sell it to Marvel. Just everything else is going to Disney,
just,
man.
Just let it go.
Just give it back. It's
Just let
fine.
it go. Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Yeah, they killed it with Spider-Man. I love the Spider-Man
But
that
they're,
they
all in
made.
conjunction with Disney. They're all in conjunction. Like Sony's not doing it by
nobody
themselves.
wants to see the Sinister Six movie, and they tried twice now. Come on.
I'm sorry, you took Adrian Toomes from our dimension to put him in the Sonyverse so it could fail and we never see him again. So he's just stuck in a dying universe. Maybe Doomsday and Secret Wars will bring him back so we can get Adrian Toomes back for one more good hurrah before he gets shanked by a scorpion. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
They did
hurts my
the same
head.
thing with. I like that with Spider-Man. They did the same thing they did with that Joker, where they didn't have to give him a background. He was just there, and you're like, we know the Spider-Man story. It's fine. It's fine. Just go be Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do we have to really see Uncle Ben get shot? Like,
Do we have to see the hockey mask looking spider suit again? Or not the hockey mask, the what is it? The
goggles.
yeah, the goggles and the over the head. Why is my brain not letting the word cap or whatever the fuck the word
Owl?
is?
Cowl.
The cow?
Whatever. It goes over his whole head.
Cowl.
The
And he wears a shirt.
Yeah.
Sure, let's go with mask. It looks like a skull cap, but he just pulls it all the way down here and he has eye holes.
Balaclava?
You know, but you take whatever term you want. That's fine. You just go nuts with it.
Okay.
Go nuts with it. Whatever you want.
If
You want it to be. I can speak English really well. Thank you very much.
Honestly, his first Tom Holland's first spider suit pre Iron Man's help was very reminiscent of Scarlet Spider. Honestly, that's just me though.
I like that run. I like the when they had the 4 Spider-Mans and was the Clone Saga.
Oh,
So I like the Scarlet Spider.
Ben, Peter, Kane, and who would eventually become Spider-Side.
Yeah, the Clone Saga.
No one liked the Clone Saga.
It's fine.
I enjoyed it.
I liked.
Only because
I mean,
it gave me Kane, and I thought Kane was an amazing character.
I just like the artwork. Like that's usually my draw with comics. Like, I mean, I can see pretty drawings and read a story, and I
Yay,
like the
picture
costumes.
books.
Yeah, picture butts. We did it.
So
I
good.
like pictures.
So good.
Oh
I
man.
I so the original idea for the Clone Saga was only going to be 6 issues, but it was just selling so well that the editors were like, "Hey, why don't we just expand it to, like a lot more, like a year?" And that kind of blew out of proportion because there's a total of 4 Omnis of the Clone Saga. The Clone Saga and Ben Riley saga. It's crazy. That's like I had left comics by the time I think Ben Riley came, or it was revealed who the real Spider-Man was. So obviously it didn't last very long. I think it was 2 years maybe that they
Yeah,
tried.
it felt like it was forever.
Well, yeah, because there were like 4 titles at the time. Spider-Man, you had Amazing, you had Web
Spectacular.
of, you had Spectacular, you had
Peter Parker.
Agitilus, then you had Unlimited, and all the miniseries with Venom, and wow, there's just so much.
Two-
And probably
It's like
did
how
go
Deadpool is
forever.
now. It's Deadpool is everywhere now. It's in everything. You can't get away from it.
Oh yeah, they kind of slowed down a little bit. Yeah.
It's kind of like where zombies got to. Like zombies were real big for a long time. It was everywhere, and now it's finally died down a little bit. And then there was Deadpool's everywhere, and now it's kind of dying down a little bit. Whatever the next one's gonna be, skibbity toilets or whatever the
Shut
kids
up.
are into these days.
No. No.
Or are you okay? You can't handle my
Shut up.
whiz, I guess.
I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear
There's
about no heads coming out of toilets. No camera-headed people in trench coats. I don't want to hear about it. No Riz. You shut your Riz up. Shut it all the way up. No.
Tell his parents.
Mm.
the kids that come over here, my daughter's friends, like that's all I have to do to shut them up, to quit using those words and start using them myself. They're like, please don't.
It's just me and my daughters, and whenever they have friends over, I'm like, golly gosh darn you guys, what you got up? Do I have enough Riz for you guys? Oh my god, Dad, shut up. You first. Shut the door.
I mean, you went from straight super 70s Robin right into it. Golly gee willikers.
Golly gee willikers, and then they'll be like,
Mm.
what? And then you hit them with the current lingo, and then it throws them off balance.
What's up with that skibbity Ohio Riz?
And that's already about 2 years. Like I don't think they're even using that anymore.
Thank God.
It's crazy.
On
Yeah.
to something new.
Our parents were probably the same way whenever we started saying cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. Because language is forever changing, and I'm sure, and I'm sure we brought back a lot of terms, like especially like the Gen X generation brought back, I'm sure, a lot of the terms that people were using in the past. Just like a lot of the, what the hell generation are we on now? Gen Alpha? Is that it?
I don't even pay attention anymore. I feel like the dates change
Yeah.
and the names change all the time.
So they're using a lot of the terminology from Gen X. It's pretty cool. Like just language just comes back and then it changes, and
It's cyclical because they definitely get back with the same thing with fashion.
but that's
It's just
it's really cool if you go back and read like older comics, like Silver Age comics, just the way they talked back then. Like that, it works like a time capsule. It's like, oh, this is the way kids were talking, or maybe this is the way adults thought kids were talking. And I think comics to this day are still being written like that. Like Jonathan Hickman, he used, it was an Ultimate Spider-Man. I think it was like let him cook, and I was like, Hickman, that's what's up. Okay, that's what we're doing. Got to keep up with times, man.
Well, you probably get asked this a lot, but do you have like some favorites? I don't like saying what's your absolute favorite because we all have different like your favorite movie. There's millions of different favorite movies depending on your mood, but do you have one that is like your go-to when it comes to something you enjoy reading?
Yeah, like Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 3 is one of my favorite ones. It's got some of my favorite stories in there. God Loves, Man Kills. I think that's the greatest X-Men story ever written. It's got the Wolverine miniseries in there. It's got From the Ashes. Uh, DC, I love Gotham Central. I think that's the perfect omnibus. Every issue is so good, and it's just a different side of superheroes, right? Like it's the police department you're reading about. You're reading about the night shift and the day shift in the police department, written by two just amazing creators, Ed Brubaker and Greg Rucka. So I'm a big fan of that one.
I
Yeah,
love
New
that one. That
New
sounds pretty
Warriors are
cool.
it's my childhood. You've never heard of Gotham Central?
No, I mean, I I don't have all the details with comics. Like, it's just if I had some, I
Mm-hmm.
would read them. But
Yeah,
like, and also with time. But I mean, I
it's
do enjoy hearing about it, and like, I still love all the characters.
it's really good. Like it's there's there's a little bit of Batman in there. Like the first issue is about these two cops investigating like this deal gone bad, and one of them gets frozen by Mister Freeze, and it's about the reality of what would happen to somebody that was frozen, and like when they're thawing, the guy's already dead, right? Like he's frozen, and they have to thaw him, and like his body parts start like just falling apart, and his partner has to go in there and identify him, and it's just such a really like eye-opening story, and the rest of the series is just as good. Like the I think there's 40 plus issues. Man, it's phenomenal. Definitely worth a read. I wish they had done an adaptation of it. I think that's what I wish they had. The what was it, Gotham Knights or Gotham? One of those shows had been.
That one that lasted like a season because the CW was already on the way out with all their DC
Yeah,
shows.
that one. I didn't even watch it.
Oh,
Like I saw the trailer and I'm like, well, not for me, but I
nah.
guess happy for people that wanted that.
You know what?
No.
I don't. I think we've kept you for like an hour. Do you have like a time frame or anything like that?
I
I
got
don't
about
want to
10
keep
more
you.
minutes
Okay.
before I have to go and pick up my daughter. But yeah, that's one of my so those are two of my favorites. Like a lot of the independent comics, Dark Horse is putting out a lot of great stuff. Probably one of my favorite books is Berserk in deluxe edition. Yeah, I was a huge fan of that series. Oh my gosh, I have a long history with that. I watched a bootleg VCD of Berserk in 1998, and the first like the 25 episodes that were out in Japan. It came out in 1997, and it forever changed my life. I was like, "Whoa, this is awesome." I was big into anime, but I had never seen anything that dark that was aired on television. And there was a reason why it got canceled because it was just aired so late and it was just so brutal and violent. But it ended, right? Like 25th episode, whoever watched, like if you watched it, you know that it ends in one of the biggest cliffhangers. And I was like, what? That's it? And then there was a Dreamcast game that was coming out. I'm like, I gotta get this because it's Berserk. So I bought it. That came out like in 2000, 2001, and like the character of Casca is so different in there. And I'm like, why is Casca acting like a child? What's happening here? Because it takes place after the eclipse and it takes place after this big storyline. And in 2003, I was it was I'm sorry, it wasn't 2003. It was 2005, 2005 is when I started writing articles for a manga magazine and Beckett Anime magazine. And Dark Horse reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, you're doing manga reviews. Would you like to review Berserk? Like we're printing them in America." And I was like, "Yes. Oh my god, yes."
Immediately.
So they sent me an advanced copy of the first Tankobon. Actually, it wasn't even Dark Horse. It was Studio Proteus that reached out to me. They were the translators before Dark Horse ended up buying them out years later. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, man. I'm reading it. And it starts different than the anime, the one from 1997 did. And then fast forward some years, and I started doing YouTube videos. And Dark Horse reached out to me. My contact at Dark Horse for my days writing in manga reviews asked, "Hey, are you the same Omar that used to write for the anime magazine?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "We're gonna release Berserk in a deluxe edition. Would you be interested in getting an advance copy?" And I was like, "Oh,
Oh
my
no, free
god,
copies of
yeah!"
comics? Oh, sounds terrible. Please,
And
why?
that, to this day, that is still my number one video on the channel. Like,
That's awesome.
that's the one that blew up, and it got so many people into it. Like, it's crazy. Like, I go to my local Kroger. You guys live in Virginia. You have Kroger.
Yeah, we know Kroger's.
Okay. And there's a guy with like the brand of sacrifice tattoo, and I'm like, yo, that is so crazy. There was a time when I thought I legit thought the manga was not gonna make it. I'm like, it's just so obscure, and I was trying to spread the word, and I was letting people know I had a podcast, and I was like, you'll need to check out Berserk, and now it's kind of taken a life of its own. And unfortunately, we lost Kentaro Miura a couple of years ago, and the manga continues. Unlike the monthly magazines that we have here. I'm sorry, the monthly comics. Like Superman will always have Superman. It will outlive and it did outlive its creators. X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman. No matter what, it will outlive all of us. Berserk was a little different because manga costs tend to be like, okay, that's it, I'm done, and the editors are like, oh, please don't let the Freezer saga be the last saga. Akira Toriyama, maybe you can make someone
We need
stronger.
more One Piece. That's what we need.
Oh, Oda just loves that. That's fine, but like Akira Toriyama was like, I don't think I can make anyone stronger than Freezer. And anyway, so usually the mangaka is like, this is it, I'm ending it. Like, there's no more after this. This has a definitive ending, and we'll never get that for Berserk. I think his studio is doing it, and his best friend, kind of like the way Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson worked together. He told him that it wasn't in his deathbed, but he would share stories with him, like, okay, this is the next arc, and this is how it's gonna wrap up. So he has an idea, right? But the journey's different. It's not the same. And I read the first volume, and it does feel different. And I don't know. I think when he passed away, I was like, I think I'm okay where it ended. Like, that way the story never really ends. It just continues on, and just like all good stories should. They really shouldn't end. So
yeah,
I was I came to terms with, it sucks that we lost the creator, but the stories will always live and live on. So yeah, that's a very special one, near and dear to my heart. But it's quite excellent. It's brutal. It's mature content for sure. That's what I tell everybody on my channel. They're like, should I let my 13-year-old read Berserk whenever I have Saturday live streams? I was like, shit, at 13, I would have loved to have read Berserk. But now I have daughters. Hell no, they're not allowed to read Berserk.
That's right.
As a parent, you think different than when you were a kid, sneaking in heavy metal magazines and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, no, you don't let your 13-year-old, you raise your kids how you want to, but I'm not letting my 13-year-old read Berserk.
Oh, one more question. I want to ask this because Jay and I have been not arguing about it, but we discussed this in our last two issues. The one question that we were trying to figure out, good question was, which villain had a good point? Like, of all the comic books, he and I both were like, oh, Thanos' snap. Oof. I would have approved of it. Like, thank you for snapping.
That's a tough one.
Thank you for snapping.
Man, that's tough. There's legit a Magneto was right t-shirt. But I kind of agree with that. Like, I think, not like, and I'm not talking Stanley, Jack Kirby, or even Roy Thomas, Neil Adams, Magneto. Like, I'm talking Chris Claremont Magneto. Like, the multi-layered character, right? Survivor of a Holocaust, and doesn't, that's why I love God Loves Man Kills. Like, I mean, it starts off rough. Like, this mutant hating group, like, hangs two kids up and writes Muty on, on the swing set. And
Yeah.
Magneto's the one that finds him, and he like that's just such a powerful image. Like this guy
Yeah.
that has seen, you know, all these people, his parents, like the Holocaust, and now he's kind of living it again with his own people, like mutants. So yeah, completely makes sense. Should he have, I don't know, sank a submarine? Probably not. I mean, killed a bunch of innocent people. But, you know, sometimes you gotta go through some extreme measures to get your point across.
Yeah.
Like,
Like I always say, man, best villains have the greatest, of intentions, but do it the bad way. Like, they do it the wrong way.
legit, Doctor Doom is up there. Doom is a freaking another one. I mean, Marvel has a lot of great villains. And so does DC. I love Ra's al Ghul. I think he's a phenomenal character. Griffith from Berserk.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like, I don't want to spoil what happens, but whoa.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming.
Definitely great intention, but
Right.
terrible follow through.
And that's
Terrible follow through.
That's the good sign of a good villain, right? They think they're doing the right thing, and
Right.
like, right? I can't. That's we have moved past the one-dimensional type of villains. I like them from
Yeah.
time to time, but
Evil for the sake of evil doesn't work anymore.
yeah, and they're okay from time to time again, because there are, and that's the thing we forget, right? Like, I don't need this kid was abused, or this villain was abused as a child, and that's why he became a villain. I don't need that every time. There are crazy ass people in the real world that don't have an excuse to be crazy asses, so I'm okay with villains sometimes not having excuses to be crazy and
Yeah.
villainous, right? I'm okay with like one-dimensional villains from time to time, but I also like complexity into my villains. So that's it, dude. That's a great question. Wait, did you both agree or did you not agree with each other?
Yeah, we ended up asking it twice, I think.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
it was-
think you asked it the first time, and then I asked.
A separate type of the
Okay.
same
Yeah.
question.
Basically, on the
Because
same
we
lines.
were like, we'll ask like a chat GPT 20 questions. That'll be really fun. You
Yeah.
know, and they ended up with the same ones of a sort. But I think the initial one, we both were like, yeah, Thanos. Yeah, Thanos had a good point.
Oh yeah, like absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, movie,
Go ahead.
Again. Movie Thanos.
Yeah.
So much better than trying to impress the skinny ass chick with like killing half of the universe. That was the purpose behind the Infinity Gauntlet. Whereas in the movie, he's like, I think half the population wouldn't be starving if I got rid of them. I'm like, shit, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, but in the comics, it's like
Just
oh,
to
he's
impress
Trying to
death.
impress death, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no complexity behind that.
Sorry, she's already taken.
She,
Uh-oh.
she didn't even look your way when you did it.
Yeah,
Like,
she
she
was
wasn't impressed.
like, bruh.
Yeah, but
That's
my
just
dude
more
was
paperwork.
simping for that skinny girl.
More paperwork.
Gonna sign all these people in. You son of a bitch.
Oh my god. I won't be able to. I'm not going to be catching my stories today thanks to you now. Fucking. All right, I'm sorry, man. Did we keep you. If you need to go get your daughter, I totally
it's
understand.
okay. Thank you guys for having me. This was a blast. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you
it.
for coming. Thank you so much for coming. You are welcome back anytime.
You all just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to come back. This was a blast. And this is, you guys also have a channel, right?
Yep.
A YouTube channel where you put it on? Okay, cool. I'll be keeping an eye on it, and when it goes up, just let me know, and I'll be happy to share it.
No.
All right, awesome. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
absolutely. You gentlemen, have a great night, and it was nice to talk to you both.
Talk to
Yeah,
you
nice
as
talking to
well.
you too, man. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.